Welcome to Bleav In 76ers with your hosts, former 76ers point guard Eric Snow and two Sixers fanatics in Marcus and Teja Dash. Bleav In 76ers is presented by BetOnline.AG.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your college basketball betting this season. Get analysis of every play, prop, and point at BetOnline. You'll find the latest odds, bracket contests, team matchups, and game trends at BetOnline. Updated odds for everything from live games, the conference championships, right through the Final Four and championship game. BetOnline is your college basketball headquarters this season. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to sign up and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Be sure to use our promo code BLEAV, that's BLEAV, to receive your bonus. BetOnline.AG, where the game starts. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Bleav In 76ers podcast. I'm Marcus Dash here with legendary 76ers point guard Eric Snow and my brother Teja Dash. So 3-0. Last night was kind of a throwback type 90s type of game. Eric, I'm sure you got I'm sure you like that ball.
Oh yeah. Anything that ends with W I usually like, but just little guys getting kicked out, little chippiness. Yeah, I like that. I enjoyed it.
Low scoring, definitely had like a 90s feel to it for sure.
Yeah. Playoff basketball. I enjoyed it.
90s, early 2000s feel.
Yeah, and even before the game, Jock Vaughn pretty much said if you're not like he wanted the guys to kind of like fight a little bit, as he said, and I guess some of the guys took it a little literally, and maybe he even meant literally. But so lots to get into with the game, so we're just gonna go right take a deep dive into it. So last night, wild ride, one of the weirdest games of the season, where we saw a kick to the nuts, a smack to the nuts, and two total ejections. But obviously, as you guys mentioned, we did end up winning 102-97. So first, let's get into it. One of the biggest topics today on all of the sports shows is the ejection of James Harden and the flagrant one on Joel Embiid. So I'm going to ask you guys: do you guys agree with the calls on James Harden and Joel Embiid?
I mean, I guess it's hard because Joel's, whenever you get a flagrant one, there's some ways it can always be a two because it's the fine line of intent. And that's where the gray is as far as 1 and 2, because it could be very, like James, it looked like it's just a natural play. But if they can find that he did it with intent and on purpose, then that automatically makes it a flagrant 2. And that's what I think a lot of people have to look at is it doesn't, we used to always look at flagrants like, did the person get hurt? It was almost like that. Whereas the rules are different, defined differently. It's non-basketball play, intent, you know what I'm saying? So all of that, and it's hard to judge that a lot. When I looked at James, I thought it was an offensive foul, but I didn't think it was a flagrant 2 foul. I didn't think it was a flagrant 2.
Did you think it was a flagrant 1?
Yes. Because flagrant 1, that's what I'm saying. Flagrant 1 doesn't have to be where you kind of doing it on purpose. It could be a real play, but still be a flagrant 1.
Okay.
Based on the rules. Because if it was, I didn't think it was a flagrant 2. It was more than an offensive foul because it was like if you're running, it was a natural run, but he wasn't running through him. You see what I'm saying? Like he wasn't running through him. You had to go outside of your normal basketball area to create that contact. That's what made it a flagrant 1.
Does the fact that Royce O'Neal's hand on his hip already making contact with Harden have any bearing on that, though? Because, I mean, it'd be one thing if he just approached him, he was standing still and did it.
So yeah, if he's in front of him, if he has a hand on his hip, and that's what I'm saying. So it goes to the elbow, the shoulder. If it was maybe James' shoulder or his hand pushed him off, it's different. But it's the elbow, and they considered it, from what I believe, a non-natural running position or act. they believed it wasn't. So if it's non-natural, then it goes to, was it intentional? That's where I disagree with them. Was it non-natural? Probably so. That's where I think you can get away with flagrant one. I would have been okay if it was just a foul. But I would give them a flagrant one. Okay, non-natural. Intent is where I find an issue with it, because I didn't think that it was intentional to get a flagrant two. Joel's could have easily been a flagrant two, easily. We've seen examples of that being a flagrant one and the guy getting suspended behind it. We've seen that example in the finals. So that will be interesting.
I was trying to look for the explanations from Brothers last night. He explained it, actually, each one of those. And he said what pushed it over the edge for Harden. I can't find it, but from what I remember, he said what pushed it over the edge was where Harden made contact, as opposed to where Embiid made contact. Embiid made contact with the upper leg, but Harden made contact with the groin region, which to them
is not natural.
Elevated it from a 1 to a 2. Harden thinks he got just like the inner thigh area. Harden didn't think he got him, in the no-no spot. I think Embiid's when I saw it, I thought he was done. I thought he was being ejected, and I'm mad about it. I was already like ready to see him go. I was mad about it, but I was not going to be surprised if it was a 2. That's an ejectable. He kicked him. He kicked him from the ground. There's no dispute on basketball plays. There's no dispute on any of it. He kicked him. Harden's, I just thought should have been a foul. I see offensive players throw guys off them all the time. I see them push off with their hands. I see them slap players. I see them elbow players.
Like we say, but do you see them in that location? That's what they explain. It's not easy to just go and hit somebody at that position. That spells in their eyes intent. I think you have to go and hit in that particular area, because unless the guy's square in front of you, like trying to take a charge, and you kind of go and hit him in that, it's considered to be unnatural. I don't agree with it. And I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just giving you kind of the explanation that I've seen while even being in the referee's, meeting, how that particular situation is explained.
I'm less inclined to compare those two. I'm more inclined actually to compare Harden's hit on O'Neal to Finney Smith's smack in the face of Embiid. So why is that a common foul and that's a flagrant 2? Because that's 2 levels.
Because if Finney Smith is going to block the shot and you hit him in the face, I'm just telling you, if you're actually going to block the shot and you hit him in the face, if you hit him in the shoulder, why is it different in the face than the shoulder?
Because this is anything above next, like no, XXX.
No, but that's what I'm saying though. It's the same act.
Yeah.
So
that's where it lands is a big thing.
If anything above that, if it's a non-basketball play, I guess they deemed it a basketball play.
Because that is most of the explanation with Harden, is that it depended. It really came down to where he got him. Yeah. Well, Finney Smith got him in the across the nose. Like, you can't get any worse than that, right? So, that's the thing I had. When I saw that, I immediately thought.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I learned about the league, and when it comes to different plays and situations, it's hard to compare plays because you have different referees, different situations. I do believe that Joel's situation escalated James' situation.
Yes. It was a makeup call. A makeup flagrant.
So I do believe that that's why it's hard to compare situations. Finney Smith could have easily, that could have been a flagrant 1, flagrant 2, easily. And I don't think anybody would have really, really questioned it. I think they would have questioned it if it was a flagrant 2. but not flagrant one.
I think if Finney Smith happened last night, it would have been a flagrant.
Yeah, that's the way the game was going. So that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
I feel like, and it's no different than us being in school as children. If somebody gets in trouble and somebody keep getting in trouble, that third person's punishment is probably going to be worse than the first person.
Yeah.
Not saying it's fair, but it happens.
It's interesting you brought that up because in the post game, they were talking to Kenny and the guys, and Kenny brought up that he alluded to Harden having a pass with that off arm, and he's like, I'm not saying it happened, but I know a lot of teams send in tapes of guys to say he's doing this all the time and whatnot. But and I was like, okay, fair. If that were the case, start calling it a common foul first before you jump from not calling it at all to flagrant two.
The situation is going to determine that, though.
Yeah.
The situation is going to determine that, not the fact that they put you on notice.
That's just a big jump for me to not calling it at all to go into F2. It's just like, whoa, okay.
I mean, they looked at video.
Yeah.
So something was there.
Yeah. I was surprised they didn't call the Claxton elbow to Embiid's back later on in the game. I thought because that was right after, that was like shortly after the whole thing they had earlier. I thought they were going to call something flagrant with that or something, because I mean, you could have easily.
Yeah, I mean, I think they could have called that, but I do also think that Joel flops a lot and hurts himself for getting a call like that.
Yeah, that's true. That's why he got the.
He's the biggest guy on the court and falls the most.
He is. He fell
so much last night.
You know what I'm saying? So
I found myself yelling on the TV about Joel's falling last night. I was like, dude, stop.
Look, I do know for a fact that teams talk about his flopping.
Yeah, fans certainly do. I know that.
To the league. I'm saying teams to the league.
Oh, wow.
So it is an issue that teams are saying he's flopping.
But
the thing about it is he doesn't get called a lot for flopping.
No, he doesn't.
No, in fact, he gets the calls a lot. But to be fair, really hard to be able to gauge and empathize and put yourself in those shoes. He's a very, very large man moving in a way that we don't see guys like that moving. So as far as like on that one play where O'Neal kind of gave him a shoulder, he was already a little off balance. He was putting all his weight forward.
Guys, no one's going to knock him down that easily. Come on, man.
If he's already kind of falling, though,
no one's going to knock him down that easily.
He falls down.
You could tell like he's getting hit, and then he's up, and then he falls. That's not a natural hit and fall. That's not natural.
Yeah.
I'm not saying every time, but there are instances where he's flopping.
Mm-hmm.
Like the hit, may knock him back, but it doesn't knock him down.
Yeah.
Like, come on. It's. But hey, we've been talking about this falling for ever since we've been in this show. So
you're one of our longest tenured conversations on this, actually.
So, he's, and I'm just saying, like, going forward, you best believe that's going to be a topic of conversation with the Nets and whomever else we played before. They're going to start calling flop, or he's going to get fewer fouls from it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a point of emphasis. Trust me.
Yeah. Luckily, no serious injuries from his falls. He rolled his ankle last night on Cam Johnson's foot, I think, and then he had the fall where he tripped over Cam Johnson. So I don't know if the falling coach is really helping him at all based on last night's game.
I don't know.
But Doc spoke to the media earlier, a couple hours ago, and he had a whole soliloquy about the flagrants and the ejections, Draymond's thing and Embiid's thing. But his main point was, quote, if we're going to start punishing the retaliators and not the instigators, then we got a serious problem in this league. What do you guys think about that?
Doc Vaughn had something different to say. I mean,
he did.
Who's talking? It depends on who's talking, man.
That's an interesting point, though, because Jock did say, go out there and hit somebody.
Yeah, I mean, hit somebody doesn't mean illegally hit somebody.
Yeah.
So, but like, it means.
I'm just saying, like, that doesn't mean I'm going. It means PJ Tucker someone. He's just not hitting anybody illegal, but he's very physical. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I took what Jock was saying. Maybe because I played, but that's how I looked at it.
Yeah.
If you're going to, you have to be physical. It's a contact sport, so you don't have to hit.
Yeah.
Hit doesn't mean hurt. Hit doesn't mean doing anything bad.
Yeah.
But there are multiple plays like Claxton from the back giving Embiid a good shoulder to the back, which is, I mean, it is dirty. I mean,
And Claxton has stayed in foul trouble and he's gotten ejected.
Yeah. Which I thought was, by the way, sweet justice for him to forget.
So I'm just saying, like he it seems a little personal with him. I think all the other guys, I don't see them what they're doing is
No. Royce O'Neal's just physical. He's got that PJ Tucker game. That's just his game.
I don't think he's not doing anything. Like the play with Kenny, that could have been a flagrant one, but it wasn't anything that
No. I don't think
so. I don't see what they're doing.
No, Claxton has a problem. You're absolutely right. It is a personal thing. I think he was also frustrated. He only had 21 minutes a day the game before, so he was coming out of the opening minutes. He wanted to try to.
I from his perspective, that hurt them by him going out.
Oh yeah, he totally forgot. He totally forgot he had technical. I think. I think he just totally forgot. He was like, "Oh my god," because Jock said he reminded him after that. He was like, "No hanging on the rims." No stupid extracurricular stuff. No staring down. Cut all that out for the rest of the game because you already have one. And I guess heat of the moment. It happens.
Oh well. No, it shouldn't happen, but it does.
They cut away from him in the tunnel. He was about to throw that the barrier thing. I was like, oh man, I wanted to see that.
There you go. That's him.
So last thing on this, do you guys believe, or if you guys were to put money on this, you think Joel Embiid will be suspended for Game 4?
If I had odds, I would say my odds of yes is more than no.
Really?
Yeah. At the rate the league is going, I believe if they don't do anything, it would be worse for the league.
You don't think the Harden ejection was like a payoff, like an exchange of goods? Like, all right, we'll get rid of Harden, but not Embiid next game.
No, I just think the whole thing with Draymond and that, because they threw the history and I just think that they may look at that. It would not surprise me. So if I'm guessing, I would say over 55, about 55% yes, 45 no. Hopefully I'm wrong.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked at all. It's weird to not have him be ejected in the game to get suspended, because at least Draymond's was an ejection turned into a suspension, but to not give him like a harsh ruling on the court and then get him out of the game for the next one's weird.
Okay, I'm looking at it now. Wojnarowski just tweeted the NBA is taking no further action on Sixers fouls in Game 3. So
there you go.
There you go. No suspension.
Yeah. 45%, yes.
Still very close.
All right. So to dig a bit further on Embiid in Game 3, he was 5 of 13, only had 14 points, 5 turnovers. He went to the locker room with the back issue, rolled his ankle, and also tweaked his knee. Just clearly wasn't himself. Just seemed like he was focusing on his injuries, like we've seen in the past. Embiid in the playoffs. So I want to ask you guys, how much of this is Nets game plan and personnel? Or how much of this is actual injuries, his play recently?
I mean, it's playoffs, man. It's going to happen. He's playing more minutes, and they're giving him more attention. Even when he doesn't score, he's getting double teamed. He's getting hit. So it's hard. So it's the wear and tear is there. That's not going away. Like I've been telling you guys for over a year, I do not understand why teams don't double him. Now, when you double him, he's seeing the Shaq thing when people are doubling you every game, how hard it really is to play that way. So now you know. I believe that he needs to get down on the post and get a move where he catches and shoots before the double comes.
He was doing that really well in the first game too.
Just catch and shoot before the double comes. That's why you look at Jordan or Ewing and all them guys that had a fadeaway. That fadeaway came to go away from the double. So the double was irrelevant.
Yeah, he wasn't popping a lot.
Maybe him and his trainer, whatever the guy's name is. What's his trainer name?
Drew Hanlon.
Yeah, they got to have to. They gonna have to do that next summer, because you can't just the Nets were like, great, we accomplished what we wanted to accomplish. Even though they're down 0-3, they've accomplished what they wanted to accomplish as far as Joel goes.
Yep.
You play better teams, that's harder to do.
Mm-hmm.
And each round the teams get harder. But they're giving them a recipe. They go in and tweak it. They got a recipe. All right, when we doubling this, but on our rotations, we're gonna do this. And we do this, or make him, you start looking at that film and you say, okay, well, when we double to his right hand. There's things that you can do when you double hard, jump hard to his right hand. So now he has to pass it. He's passing everything with his right hand. He's passing everything over his right shoulder. Now you start doubling. Okay, well, the guy that's guarding him, maybe you stay on that shoulder and the guy doubles from the left side. Now you double with a big. So now you rotate smalls. You start looking at it, and that's what this doubling stuff isn't going away at all.
Especially if it's working. It's
not going away.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. You got to, and people say you don't really want to double a guy 15 to 17 feet out. You really don't. So what you'll start seeing is they'll start doubling him when he dribbles, when he's 15 to 17 feet out, instead of doubling on the catch. Going forward, the other team's got bigs, multiple bigs. Unless we play someone like Golden State, everybody else has multiple bigs.
Yeah. Do you think? Yeah. Also, even when they weren't doubling him, he was like looking for the double.
Looking for it. Yes.
It almost distracted him. He almost like couldn't,
because that's what you call being off balance, because you have no idea when it's coming. That's when you know you're affected. And
then at that point, it took him out of his own game.
He's affected. You're affected when you're doing that. You're hesitant. They have accomplished their job of getting him off his game. He hasn't had, and correct me if I'm right, he hasn't had one 30-point game, right?
Nope. No.
He averaged 33. That's how you got him off his game. He's off his game. We just have some other guys that people don't realize that are really good.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the thing. It's been shouldered, like Maxey, Harris, like everyone's stepping up now, which is good. I mean, that's what you want. But it's definitely worrisome. I think game plan and personnel got to him first. I think he was very affected by it, and then he started getting nicked up and getting distracted with his injuries, like he did last year too in the playoffs.
But I really think he does not have an answer to the doubles.
Yeah,
his answer is to pass it to the guy, which is what you think but sometimes I'm gonna play through this. But it's best to play through that when you're closer to the basket. So I think some of the frustration is coming from the fact that
you can't figure it out.
Yeah, you can't figure it out, and that game could have really been ugly if you scoring 14 points and the guy like Claxton scoring more than you. Even though he's not getting double, but if he ended up scoring more than you and they win that game, now it looks different. It looks really different. So
yeah,
we're a much better team than them, and it appears to be that we'll win this series. Hopefully, the next game we're 5. But it's still a lot of questions.
Every game has gotten worse.
This series isn't necessarily kind of
a dominant sweep.
Yeah, it's almost like it isn't really. It's like it's not a reality of how things are really going to be if we want to win a championship or move further.
Yeah, yeah. I did think the series was going to be a grind, though, so I didn't think we were just going to absolutely wallop them every game.
Yeah, I picked them to win Game 3, and I do feel that
They should have won that game.
Should have won the game.
I'm glad we got out, but
I'm glad we won. But yeah, that was the game that
Maxey went off. I mean, like Maxey became superhuman
at the end, and I just thought that they just, one of those games is, like a game 6 or something. They just
and you can tell Embiid at the end, he was like, "Take it, Maxey." I don't think he I hate to say this, I don't think he really wanted the ball toward the end of that game. Wow. I think he was like, "You're hot."
Getting doubled, man. It's just, it's different.
Well, we better use game 4 to polish some of those up because Boston's bringing it,
Yeah.
Well, hopefully Atlanta can pull off a game just so we have at least a little bit of rest. At least a little bit, hopefully.
At least one. Come on now.
It doesn't look like that's happening at all.
Yeah.
Although the line of that game, the game tonight, I believe, it looks like a really fishy line. So you could easily I think Atlanta might win based on the line I'm looking at.
I got Boston. I got Atlanta winning, so that means they'll probably lose.
I don't know, Eric. Based on that betting line, it looks like Atlanta's going to win tonight.
I got Atlanta winning tonight.
Yeah. Okay, so continuing to talk about that game last night. Are you guys happier that we can win an ugly, low-scoring game, or worried that this might carry over to Boston, which is kind of what we just talked about?
No, I mean, I don't think it's a carryover. I just think I'm excited that you find a way to win, no matter how the game is going.
Yes,
I think that's the important thing. Figuring out a way to win, ugly, not ugly, low scoring, high scoring. It was just about winning the game, making plays to win the game, and we did that. So, to me, that's what's most important. The carryover. I would be more inclined to talk about carryover if we are consistently not playing well, and I haven't seen that. We've had flashes, but we've done enough to win, and some of that is the opponent is probably not as good as teams that we could face, but they're a very capable team to beat us. Like they've shown, they just haven't been able to put it together for a game.
And we were right, by the way. We said who's going to show up. We said this is Dinwiddie's game, and it was Dinwiddie's best game of the series.
Yeah,
every game's been someone else for them.
He plays well. They have a chance to win. I mean, that's the in the playoffs, you have that guy, that go-to guy, and that's what I'm saying. They don't really have a true number one option.
Yeah, they have a lot of complementary pieces.
Going to draw double teams, going to shrink make them shrink the defense every single play. They don't really have that.
It's also extremely difficult to win 7 against a team in 1 year. We're 7-0 against them.
No, we're actually 8-0. We played them in preseason.
We actually did that. My rookie year in Seattle. Houston was defending champs, and we beat them 8-0.
Damn.
Beat them 4 in the regular season and sweep them in the playoffs.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
So not only we're at 8-0 Marcus in the preseason, but 7-0 regular season and including playoffs. A very big variety of ways and the amount of different teams we played. So we've had the backups versus backups game. We had the Kyrie and Durant versus no Joel and James game. We had the new Brooklyn team with Ben Simmons. We had the new Brooklyn team without Ben Simmons. We had the low scoring, grinded out kind of game. We had a huge come from behind game against them, a blown lead against them, the ejections and blowouts. So it's crazy. All the different things that have happened against them this year, right? Yep, exactly. So we've won with Joel having his second lowest scoring game of the season, right? And just not looking like himself. So it's cool. Yeah, I mean, if anything, we should just work on, like I said a few minutes ago, work on these double teams before we get to Boston, because that Boston's just a level up from everything we're seeing on Brooklyn, as far as they're almost kind of like a rich man's version of Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Multiple wings, but they're just better scorers. They're both number ones in Boston instead of, number twos in Brooklyn. And they have 2 very capable bigs. So scary.
I know we talked about the worst of what we've seen so far in the series. Embiid not being able to figure out the double teams and sometimes triple teams. What are some positives and negatives you guys have seen outside of that, based on what you saw last night?
I just think the necessary other guy, making a big shot, making a big play, big rebound. PJ's doing the hustle plays. Daniel's just coming in making slashy moves, and Melton's making a big shot, big stop, big dunks, big plays. Tobias is timely baskets. So that's what I think. I mean, that part is like you feel like Niang's making some big shot. You feel like we have a team that's playing well. You got Joel, like it's getting double, but everybody else, I feel like everybody else is stepping up, even if they're not really, it doesn't show it on the box score. I do really feel like everybody else is playing well, and doing enough for us to win games.
Yeah. Tucker's the second leading rebounder in the series. Amazing. Tobias is consistently, you could tell he thinks he can win his matchups every time. And he tries to play bully ball every time. And he usually has like Dinwiddie on him. And it's like, yes, good. Like I saw way too many times during the season where he had someone like 6 inches shorter than him and he just wasn't pounding them down. And I love to see that. Maxey, we've done a little flip-flopping on this year, but he's a star in the making, dude. Like, I think Maxey in the next year or two is a top 10 leading scorer in the league.
Why are you laughing, Eric?
Hey, if that face palming is directed about us wanting to try.
Would you just say he was a top 10 scorer in the league?
I said the next year or two, yeah. Yeah, I think so.
So Joel's not going to be on the team?
I mean,
so you say you're going to have two top 10 scorers?
Joel's on the team now, and Maxey's the leading scorer on our playoffs. What do you mean?
Is he a top 10 scorer?
Wait, what do you mean?
You said it. You said he's going to be a top 10 scorer.
I said the next.
I said 2 top 10 scores. That's what you're saying?
We have 3 20-point scorers this year. Why can't we have?
I didn't say that. I said top 10.
I think Maxey in the next year or two is going to be a top 10 scorer. I really do.
And Joel.
Yeah. Maybe Joel won't be averaging 33.
So Joel won't be a top 10 then. We're not going to have 2 top 10 scorers.
Is it
it's
that
too
good?
much? Not because they can't. No. I agree with you as far as their ability to do it. I just think that the amount of scoring is going on around the league. I just think it's going to be too hard to have 2 guys in the top 10 on your team.
Like if you
because of that, not because of talent. I think that you're right as far as their ability to do it. I just think the way that you have, the kid from Oklahoma City averaging 30 and Luka averaging 32. And, I mean, it's just so many other guys that it's just going to keep growing and growing. And I just don't think that it's going to be enough for a team to have 2 players unless they're putting up 130, 40 points a game.
So what would he have to average to be top 10 scorer this year? Let's see. Offense.
I know. I just think the scoring's going up.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was a crazy year this year. Does that continue that way? We'll have to see. But that you're right. It was absolutely insane this year with scoring. We said that a few 3 or 4 episodes ago.
I think we commented on the amount of 30-point scores this year.
Yeah. So the 10th leading scorer was 28 points a game.
Yeah,
that's a big.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what. How many points away is he? 7 points away?
From that, yeah. He averaged on like 20 on the dot, didn't he?
Yeah,
8 points.
8 points away.
That's
all right.
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of guys in between there. So I'm just saying, like when you say top 10, like
top 20, top 20.
Yeah, definitely top 20. I can see that.
I mean, and they were talking about it. I forgot who said it about him. I think it was the post game about like. He's all levels, mid-range, 3, deep 3, driving. I mean, he doesn't really have a scoring weakness. I can make a case I can make a case not to say he's a better scorer than Prime Harden, but I think he's got more versatility as a scorer than Prime Harden because Prime Harden didn't shoot mid ranges.
Yeah,
So he's got a whole other level that Harden never
that was
tried.
more philosophy than ability.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I get what you're saying, but that was more by choice for them.
But I mean, it's just he's like he's got room to grow too. Like that's the funny thing. He's not like a finished product. Like he's still getting better. He's still getting better every year, and his defense improves. I mean, we got so lucky with him. That was my positive observation with him. It's just like, man, he's
Yeah.
safe.
I mean, it's when you. That's why I said Joel got to be there. Joel's still performing because if he becomes that option of, I think people still see him as the third option.
Yeah,
that's a really, really good one. The more he move up that ladder, the more the defense will put attention on him. I just think now it's hard for teams to do it.
Yeah.
Hard for them to, they can't put their best. They're not putting their best defender on them. Even though I think you may find a series where they do that.
Yeah.
I think Boston may put Marcus Smart on.
The smart guard Harden or guard?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And you put a bigger guy on James and switch the pick and roll. Like it's going to happen eventually.
Yes.
We play Milwaukee. Does Drew? Because Drew's has good success against James, but does he now guard Maxey? Like we don't know.
Yeah, I think Drew's kind of wasting away guarding Harden. Actually, I think you'd want to put him on the harder guy to guard. Who's harder to guard at this point of their careers? I think Maxey is.
We'll see.
And then negatives. I've been saying it. Got to control our emotions. We have way more to lose against this team. You gotta control your emotions, and you can't get into those kind of fights. Thank goodness they didn't discipline us further. But that, and then the working on the double teams, I think would be my biggest negative. Paul Reed played great again. He continues to grow up in the playoffs. We have a lot of good depth pieces. Actually, our depth pieces have played really. They've all stepped up. They played really, really well. That's pretty much it for positives and negatives.
It's actually kind of funny the way you guys predicted the regular season to go. You guys thought NBA would take a drop off in scoring and everybody else would kind of rise. That's what's
playoffs.
Happening. That's what's happening in the playoffs. So
yeah,
you guys were kind of right, but you thought regular season. You thought.
Yeah, regular season and postseason. But no, that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
We should go back to our preseason predictions for points and all that stuff, and when the playoffs are done, see if it lines up with the postseason stats.
It honestly might.
It'll be close.
It's funny just to see where Maxey is come now and how we think of him. Just 2 years ago, a lot of the Sixers fan base wanted us to trade Maxey for Kyle Lowry, and they're upset that they traded Precious Achiuwa instead. They chose Achiuwa over Maxey because that was potentially the deal. It was Maxey, and that was more rumors. It was never reported that we actually offered that, but crazy.
Yeah. No, we don't know.
Now Lowry's killing it over there.
Yeah. Okay, so last topic here. So game 4, Saturday. Just 2 questions for you guys. How important is it for us to end the series in a sweep so our guys, Embiid and Harden, can get some rest? And obviously, who do you guys have? Sixers are a 6-point favorite against Brooklyn.
I'm going to throw one more question in there too, so you can start it off, Eric. Embiid's gone down scoring every single game. Does he score less than he scored last game?
Well, he scores more than he scored the last game. He does score more. I think that is a pointed effort, not just by him, but by the team and Doc, to find a way to get him back on track through the double teams. So I think they'll force feed. Hopefully not to the detriment of a win. But I do think that'll happen. I do think that we win the game. I think they come out with great energy. Enthusiasm, excitement, but I think we get into the second half and we kind of wear on them, and they just sort of like, why go to Philly?
It's so close,
Philly, man. Let's just get this. It ends up, being over. I think we win it, but this game, next game, I think the game will probably start around the same time based on how Boston series, if their series ends in 4 or 5, I think the series ends. I think the next series starts around the same time. So I wouldn't necessarily say this game you got to get all this time off because, if you're happening, we play with Monday, game 5 will be Monday. That's still a good amount of time off. If for some reason we don't win this game, but I do think we'll win it.
Do you think that it's more important for Philly to close it out and get some even a couple days extra rest, or do you think it's more important for Brooklyn to at least get a win in this series for them?
Well, it's good for us to close it out, but I don't particularly think that 4 or 5
is a big difference.
Yeah, I don't see it as a huge difference because, like I said, if we win Monday, the earliest we'll probably play is Saturday, in my opinion. So that's still a good amount of days off.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not to me, that I don't think that that's something that's like, we have to win this next game to get this full week. Like, I'm not into all of that. 2 or 3 days off, most guys are good, unless the guy has a really, really, troubling injury. And if that's the case, that's not going anywhere. If you need that much time off, then we're in trouble. I think for going forward, I think Brooklyn needs to get a win. Going forward, get a playoff win, kind of feel that.
Yeah.
Going forward and see, how guys are going to respond coming off a win, going on the road. May say a lot about your team, especially for a team, they have a lot of picks and whatever else they have. They got some decisions to make.
Yeah. So if the Hawks win tonight, it guarantees they play on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So, if they win 2 games, it'll be even better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. The game, I don't think would start earlier than Saturday.
Yeah. So we get maybe one extra day rest out of it, really. We just got to root for the Hawks to win more than 1 game. I think 6 point. I think we close it out. To start the series, I thought it was going to be a 5 or 6 game, but
I picked 5. I picked 5. It wouldn't surprise me if they went to 5, but I think the way the game is going and the fact that we won that last game, I think they're broken.
Yeah.
Broken and ready.
That was a rough game for them to lose on multiple levels. That was a really rough game. They dug down deep for that. They really put it all out there. I think we're looking to close it out. I think we think they can't beat us 7-0 regular season, postseason. I just think we think we own them now. So, but it happened during that game. We had. Well, I was happy we came away with the win too. Another point for that game. We did it a lot this season. The whole we're better than them. They know it. We know it. They're just gonna give us this win, and they're not. And that happened last game. It seemed like we spent most of the game being like, well, they know we're better. They're eventually just gonna cave to us and give us a W. It's not gonna happen, dude. You got to wake up out of that. And we did snap out of that eventually. So hopefully we start out this game from the start going, okay, we need to just beat them down. But I do think, and see if you agree with me on this, I think they're going to be even more aggressive this game and really take it up a notch to go out there and hit somebody. They got nothing to lose. It's an elimination game. They go home after this anyway. What the hell do they care? So we got to watch out for that again. But hopefully we came very close to Embiid getting ejected. Harden did get ejected. So that was lesson learned for the next 2 days. They've probably been told by Doc and all the staff, keep your head. Do not get ejected. So, because now refs are looking out for it, aren't they, Eric? They're looking for anything in this series to give them a reason. Yeah.
Eric, so 6-point favorite. You have Sixers winning?
Yeah. And covering.
All right. Sixers hadn't swept a playoff series since the 1990-1991 season, where opening round they swept the Bucks 3-0.
Yeah, we never swept anyone.
Wait, haven't swept anyone in a series, period?
Yeah, since 1990-91.
We never swept anyone.
Damn. Wow.
Yeah. So I guess in the 7-game opening round era, we've never swept a team before. Because that's 3-0, and that's 98-91. When did they go to the 7 games for the opening round? Yeah, it seems like we missed the playoffs after that.
2000, was it 4, 5?
Looks like for the Sixers, after that year, we didn't make the playoffs till the 98-99 season, and then that was 3 games to 1, and then the 99.
We never swept anybody.
Yeah,
we won a lot. We won 3-1s and stuff like that, but we never swept anyone.
It looks like 02-03 was the first year of the 7 games.
Yeah, I was trying to find that.
Was it 02-03?
That's what it looks like, yeah, because 01-02 opening round, we lost.
01-02 was 5 games.
Yeah, we lost 2-3 to the Celtics, and then 02-03 opening round, 4 games over the Hornets. Yeah,
that was 7 games.
Yeah,
that was the first year.
Yeah, wow. So
looks 20 years.
So here we go.
We do.
Yeah, I guess we are due. All right, fellas. Well, hopefully we sweep the Brooklyn Nets Saturday, and we're talking about maybe Atlanta Hawks or Boston Celtics in the next round on our next episode on Tuesday. So
can we do a just in case Brooklyn wins? Our predictions for Monday. A win. I think we all.
Yeah, we're winning.
We're gonna win. Okay.
We're gonna win.
Just making sure.
We picked 5, so yeah, we gotta win that one.
Yeah. My playoff bet I actually have is winning exactly in 5 games. So I wouldn't be that upset if we lose Saturday. All right, guys. Well,
all right.
We'll see you guys Tuesday.
All right, guys.
See you, fellas.